So to celebrate 10 years of this amazing server, I'm going to be taking this build, I'm going to be transforming it. Oh no, that doesn't work. Modernizing it with the new blocks and features from 1.21. Luckily for me, in the last 10 years, there has been an abundance of blocks added to the game, which should help us in giving the old spawn a major transformation. But I want to make sure that we stick to a few criteria. First, we have to maintain the form of the original spawn. This may seem pretty obvious, but it can be easy to want to drastically change things when you're building. For this project, however, we have to make sure the new build is as similar in shape to the original as possible. Second, we have to make use of as many new blocks as possible. I want this build to represent not only the history of the Afterlife server, but the history of Minecraft itself. And third, the build should be a social center. The original build served as a place to hang out and start your video. I want this build to serve the same purpose. But before I get ahead of myself here, I think I need to get some concepts down on paper so I have an idea of what I'm actually going to be building. So I spent about 5 minutes just sketching different ideas I have so that I could kind of get a feel for what I'm going to have to be building and how I'm going to actually transform this build, because I already have a pretty good base to go off of. I simply just need to use all the new blocks. All right, so I've established the shape that I want, and as you can see, I'm using some new blocks. I got the tuff, I've got the deep slates, and I got mangrove logs, which is perfect. These are all new blocks. I really like the way it looks. Yeah, I think it's gonna be good. All right, I've started detailing. I've added a bunch of color. I'm using more tuff, and I've also included the new flowers, which I'm loving. We also have the lanterns, which are new. And so far, I think it's turning out pretty good, and I'm getting the shape that I really want. However, at this point, I decided to enlist the help of a few other members, and things really got going. So this is the final design of the tower. Of course, it's going to need a lot of modifications to then add in walls, but I think it gets the right vibe across. It definitely shares the same qualities as the original tower here, and ultimately, I think it just looks like a nice updated version. So the next step was getting some walls, and luckily Ash went ahead and designed us a module for the walls, and I think they look great. They're basically just deep slate wall designs. He also made a little corner module. Basically, then all we had to do was put everything together using world edit and copy paste. And that's exactly what we did here. This was a really fun process to do. I've done very few builds like this, and I really enjoyed my time. I might become more of a builder. So at this point, I am really happy with the way this build has turned out. It really hits the first two parts of my criteria. It's using a bunch of new blocks. We've got tuff, we've got the new flowers, we've got blackstone, we've got deep slate, we've got the lanterns, we've got copper, we've got the mud bricks up here. We've got mangrove. It really just uses a bunch of new blocks, and I think it's just a really good representation of what I wanted. And I also think it is very faithful to the original design. I mean, we have 8 towers with the pointy hats, and we have the walls that surround it and a courtyard. It's very similar. We even got the central thing here. So all we really need is to put a dragon egg, which I'm gonna have to talk to Skunk about that. However, the last criteria is making sure it's central, and this means we're gonna need to pick out a good location for it. And it's a pretty big build, so finding a spot for it is gonna be pretty tough. But before we look at any locations, here's a quick message. Oh, what am I wearing? Well, Afterlife merch. If you guys want Afterlife merch, now's your time. We've got shirts in so many different colors. It's amazing. It's almost like we use the dyes in Minecraft to do these. And you know what else we have? A 10-year anniversary shirt. It's amazing. And it's only a limited time, okay? So please get it now. And if you use code PuffingFish, you get 15% off. So this area here looks like it could maybe work. If we kind of go into free cam here, we would basically do it like right here. Problem with this is it's just out of the way and it doesn't quite feel right. I really want it to be central. Luckily, I was in a call and brainstorming ideas when Runic had an epic idea. This spot here just feels kind of empty to me, like with the hole, and no one's done anything with it, and it's ugly.
Are you gonna move the RV?
No, I'm just gonna destroy it.
That's so sad.
I mean, I can move it at some point.
I don't know. You can do whatever there.
I have the schematic of it still. Where else could we put it?
Make it floating in the air. Because it's the afterlife after all.
Okay, I mean that is an idea. It's just a much bigger project because it would be like
just on a cloud.
Island.
You have to build a you have to build a
like
giant island.
Right above here, there's a floating island with the giant thing. That'd actually be so sick, though.
That
would be cool.
That would take another like probably 3 hours.
I got my coffee and I made a floating island with Axiom. So I went from this to this. This looks so amazing. I mean, it's far from completed because I have to put all of this into survival and add all the foliage around it and make it look even better. But the shape and it's just, look at it. And so now it's time to take this enormous structure and build it up in the center of the shopping district. So me, Runic, Miney, and Nightfox got together and we grinded it out. It was like a 5-hour ordeal. This thing is the coolest thing I have ever built in this game. Check it out. What? Oh my goodness. Let's get a flying view here. Oh my goodness, guys. This thing looks amazing, does it not? Oh, the stained glass. I really like the deep slate. We really nailed it. And the central location. I mean, come on. The central location is perfect for this thing. I mean, the shaders obviously help, but if we turn those off, it's still pretty good. I mean, come on. If we let's get a view from, let's say we're shopping at the mall and we leave the mall. What's that view look like? Dude, that's so cool. All right, so now it's time to see what the other members think of this giant thing. Uni, see that thing over there? Yeah, that, yeah. What do you think? It's big. Yeah, that's what she said.
I've been trying not to really look at it because
you can't avoid
new,
it, can you? It's kind of just there.
No, you can't.
Let's go check it out. Let's go check it out.
So you rebuilt this out of deep slate? Looks like.
Yeah. I mean, the goal was to rebuild it with new blocks and like kind of new building techniques, and you know. So I hit a lot of bases: mangrove, deep slate, copper, mud.
Are you gonna rebuild the things that go in these corners here too?
I don't know yet. Kind of, that's still up for debate, I'd say.
Yeah, so there's been how many updates? Like 13
10 years worth of updates, pretty much. So White and I just kept hanging out for a little bit. Pretty cool, but I did realize that this whole terrain here is a little bit plain, and the island itself is super dark. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to spend some time to detail the bottom of it so you can at least appreciate the island a little bit more. And I think the best idea I've heard is using glow lichen. So to get my glow lichen, I did what any other sensible Minecrafter would do. Does someone have a glow lichen?
I mean,
Wait, Miney, you got this. You win.
What color are you?
I'm green.
You green. You win.
Oh yeah,
What?
W.
Why do you keep saying that? What?
You win.
Big W.
Uni's like, shut up. Tell
Oh
her.
no, he saw it. He saw it. Darn.
Okay, glow
That was a
lichen.
good move, Uni.
You got Doug.
I'm sure Skunk has some, but
I will
it
give you
pops off.
some. One piece of lichen puff.
I'll take it. Success.
I made a resin farm.
Oh my goodness.
I did it all by myself.
I'm so
It's about to
proud.
become nighttime too. Okay, hold on, I'll show you. It's in my red. I'm calling this my redstone cave.
Ho 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 ho! Look at this thing.
Uh-huh.
So how do you
come
get
up-
the resin? Let's see it.
Okay, so you come right up here and you flick lever, turn on the farm. And you come over here and you wait for your trap door. Gonna back all the way up. Wait for your trap door. Hit. Once it goes down, hit. And
Keep going, keep going. I want to look at all this happen. Whoa, that's cool. So now that we've seen Skunk's resin farm and I got my glow lichen, it's time for me to actually put all the glow lichen on the bottom of this island. Yeah, this looks pretty good. I like the spottiness of it. It definitely gives it some shape and character. Yeah, so that I feel like is a good kind of spot for the bottom to be at. So now what I want to do is I want to go around the edge here of the flat surface here and kind of put some rocks in, maybe a little hilly type of just extrusions of the ground, just to make it a little bit more natural and not so flat and man-made looking. All right, I think this is exactly what I wanted. I mean, it just feels like the tower is more in the island and not on the island, even though it is definitely on the island. I think this works. It definitely gives it kind of more of a finished vibe, even though it's far from finished. At this point, I feel like the next step is to fill in the courtyard here, but I have absolutely no clue what to put in here. So I went to the guy who designed the original himself and asked him. So there's the center thing here, which to me feels like, you know, dragon egg goes here, right?
I mean, it could.
But there's these 4 quadrants, right? And each quadrant I feel like should represent something. And it happens that there's 4 seasons before this. So I just need to know, like, what is there, like a miniature thing that we could put in each corner that represents an entire season?
I mean, I'm sure you could.
Because you are the original designer of the original of this. What do you want to see it have?
I mean, I think what you said makes sense. Like, you know, it makes sense to where like each thing represents a piece of the previous seasons.
Okay.
I think that's probably the best idea, but then I don't know where you're actually going to put the shop unless you put the shop here in the middle or whatever.
No, the shop's going to be inside the island.
Yeah, so I mean, I think your idea of having each corner represent a different season makes sense.
Okay, so this is your guys' job. What do I put in the center? What represents the previous seasons of Afterlife? This thing looks magnificent, but it needs to have some purpose. Otherwise, no one's ever going to go there. So let me know, and I'm going to start putting my brain cells together to see if I can get something to click. But otherwise, I'll be relying on you guys on this one.